people that know me best. The key that I won't forget. Too soon, I can't keep on losing you. Can't keep on losing you.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. Wherever you are tuning in from the world, we welcome you. We thank you for joining us on Body of Work. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are happy, we are joyful, we are grateful for everybody tuning in on the live and on the playback. We are so joyous for y'all joining us here on the number one podcast for creators and creative insight. And today, today, we have a special guest. We have a magnificent person, fantastic creator. We have somebody who is unapologetically themselves. Ooh! There she go. Look at that. Ooh!
It started before I knew it. I was here in the building. Yeah.
Holla.
I'm
okay,
hollering.
Y'all. Here we go. If you don't know, my name is LP, aka Swens, aka Shades. If you know me in the industry, yes. Let's get up, y'all. Let's get up. It's Sunday morning here where we at, but it's Saturday evening where y'all at. And today we have the one, we have the only, we have one, honestly, I think one of the most creatively thinking people, actually solution-based cats that I have ever met in my entire life. Because again, we'll talk about how we met at some point in this joint. But when I tell you the joy and the happiness that actually exudes and lives inside of this person to make it through some of the things that I know, and then some of the things that I don't even know. Wow. I couldn't ask for a better episode. So without further ado and enough rambling from me, I have the esteemed pleasure of introducing Treva, the diva. Treva, what's good?
I'm going to do my own applause. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Woo!
What's good?
I'm so happy to see your face. As if I didn't see it. This is so dope. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So Treva, tell us.
You really think that I'm that creative? That's so nice. Thank you.
I really do. You honestly, you would not be on the show if I didn't think so, or if the producers didn't think so. But yes, for real. Because even for me, seeing your progression and seeing it from an outsider's perspective and watching your journey, it's a little difficult for creators, to balance that sort of life of real world and expectations and obligations, and really diving into the type of creator that you want to be, right? Because you could follow trends, you could take what is the latest and take that sort of, but you do it in your own style. So tell us your story. Tell us about you. Tell us about Treva the Diva.
Wow. So Treva, oh my goodness. I'm just all over the place. I don't know. I feel like a lot of times I'm all over the place. But I've always been, and I don't know if it's environment. I think a lot of who we are and who we become is because of our environment. So all of us, all species on this earth, like we adapt to our environment. So, and I say that because growing up, although I do have an older brother, growing up, I was alone. I grew up kind of alone. My mother did her thing. It was just me. I had to entertain myself. I didn't have any siblings. My mother was strict. I couldn't go outside. So I learned to play like the hand games with my feet. And, I learned to be like really I don't know if it's survival, but, you kind of go into your mind and you create these stories, and you create the story of the life that you want to live, that you wish you were living. And I think that that's what we all kind of do. I didn't have the luxury of having friends, I had a little friends, but not like constantly out going to barbecues and sleepovers. And so, and so when I was exposed to Michael Jackson, that did it for me. That did it in terms of performance. And it resonated with me because, you know, I got this energy, right? And then in terms of vocals, I was always amazed by Whitney Houston. But who wasn't? That's corny, because who wasn't? But those were the two biggest stars that at the time. And, you know, I didn't have cable. The TV barely worked. So when I got a glimpse of these people on TV, I'm like, wow, look at what they're living this dream. And I used to act as if I was on TV. So in the bathroom, you know, your medicine cabinet, that was my camera. So what we do now is funny because it's so easy for me to kind of sit here and do this. When I hear a lot of people say, oh, it's so uncomfortable. I'm like, not for me, because I literally used to do that and perform for myself and entertain myself. So that's how it was started. You know what's so funny though? I had no one, when I listened to other people and their journey, like established artists, it makes me sad all the time. I'm getting out of it now, but it used to really sadden me because I felt like so many people had great beginnings. They had a nice introduction into the world. Even though there were struggles, they had introduction. I had no introduction. Right. My father, he's a singer, or he sung. He wanted to get into the industry. He was stopped by his father. My mother has her talents, but no one kind of had the opportunity to really try their hand at it. You know what I'm saying? So of course they didn't support me. And I was begging at the age of 8. I knew what I wanted to do. I'm like, Mom, don't you know I am a starer? I'm a starer. Come on, get me to the studio. Let's go. Come on. And my mother was like, girl, please go sit down. Go sit down. You know, and so my creativity was stifled. Stopped, whatever.
Stifled, yeah.
Stifled.
They shut it down.
Period. It was shut down. And it's a wonder to me that I'm still here pushing through, because it's just, so I don't know what to tell you, except that I think it's just innate. It's innate. And there's weird silence. So I'll keep talking. So anyway.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you went from, so how did you, as an adult, when you moved into adulthood, or when you moved into a space of really doing it on your own, can you tell us a little bit about that? Because it sounded like when you were a child, when you were growing up, you know, they were doing the best that they could with what they have. And that's something that we're all learning, you know, about transitioning, right? So when was the point when you took it upon yourself to be like, you know what, I'm gonna grab my phone, or I'm gonna, you know, grab this laptop, or dub a mixtape, or whatever the case? Like, what was that point for you?
Okay. Thank you. I needed guidance. So gotcha. I was always that person. So going back to what I just said, I was always like, Mom, do. She wasn't hearing me. And I was literally picking up the yellow pages, looking for studios and just calling. And I never forget, I called this random guy. He's like, hello. I'm like, hi, I want to be a singer. And he's like, okay. And I think it was a music instrument store. I just looked for anything under music, called the instrument store, called the studio. And, you know, so it started there, and I was around 10. Then I got a little bit older, and I found out somehow about Freedom Theater. I don't know if you know about Freedom Theater in Philly. Okay. So when I got to high school, oddly enough, so I've always been just singing around the house. Before recording on all of this stuff was a thing. Remember, we had cassette tapes. So I was doing it on a cassette tape, stuffing it up, recording my voice, trying to sing. That was my first thing, and constantly just doing it, right? Get to high school, and this guy, he hears me singing. I sing all the time. So this guy, Mr. Foreman, I never forget, he said, oh, you like to sing? Well, you know, Miss Green, there's a choir here. Why don't you go downstairs and try out? And I said, okay. Went down, tried out, got on the choir. The following year, my grandmother called me and said, this random man called here from Freedom Theater saying that, and I guess from me calling, I used to just call, and he used to, and so they had offered a scholarship program if my grades were good for inner city Black kids. So I'm like, oh my God, this is great. My grandmother went with me. I had to get my grades up. When I tell you, I was not academically inclined at all when I was younger. I worked my ass off. I was like, yes, teacher. I wanted to get into Freedom Theater. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. Because remember the girl, Erica, from Living Single?
Yeah. Yes.
She went there. She went. And so I was like, oh, this is crazy. And so my grandmother was like, you might could be on Living Single. And I'm like, Grandmama, I think that show is over, but whatever. And yeah, so that's what it, so that's me taking it upon myself. Yeah, I always had to. And then next thing you know, I got into acting. I did a show, and then I just didn't. So here's the bummer. I didn't stick with it. Right. And in my head, I was thinking, oh, you know, I'm going to go to New York. I had a brother in New York. He went to NYU. And when I first went to New York, I'm like, I belong here. This is me. It's up. It's hyper. It's like Treva. Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is where I belong. And every time I watch movies about, you know, struggling artists, they always go to New York. I said, that's where I'm going. So when I didn't keep it up, I was on the choir, I was on a band. That was great. But once high school, there was no assistance for you after school. And I wish I would have went to Kappa, but I didn't get in. But there was nothing. So I'm like, it's okay. I'm going to go to New York. And then when I went to New York, it didn't work out. I was not able to get plugged in. A really quick story. I just got super depressed because the world wasn't what I thought it was. Yeah. Nothing worked the way that I thought it was.
Yeah.
I said, what the fuck is this? Get me out. And I now know that I was super depressed. So then when I got older, 30, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. People are going to be like, who's this girl? She's still trying. And I got in my head and I said to myself, damn, if I knew then what I know now, I would be so on top, because YouTube was popping a little bit. And then something said to me, Treva, what you know now, just do now. You can't go back in the past. Just do it. That part was a major discovery, but it was the doing that was so hard. I couldn't get it. So it took all these years just to kind of say, let me press record and just be me. And you see, I've done it slowly. I've been like really slow. Yeah. I've only really picked it up just recently. All this time I've been reprogramming my mind. All this fucking time. Unlearning
but there's things,
old shit.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
You feel me? And then now I have to learn new shit, pump myself, get some confidence. So that's been the journey. So that's why I'm here now sharing.
What are your thank you so much for sharing that, because I look at that and I've had to continue to unlearn and learn some new things. Can you talk a little bit more about how you get through those creative blocks? And I know it's been recently over the past couple of years, but what are the things that you do when you find yourself slipping back into that mode of like, well, what are people going to say, or how are people going to think of this, or man, I'm too old to do this? Like, what are some of the things or the steps that you do to be like, no, Treva, you're doing this?
Drugs. Lots of drugs. You have to. No, I'm kidding. Maybe half kidding. So it's a mixture of, sometimes when I get super depressed, I do use weed to help me with, like when I feel down, because that changes, you know, that dopamine release. But then also just learning, I have to watch. This is funny. I was going to say, I have to watch what I watch. You have to be careful what you're consuming, right? Consuming is so important. And so a lot of times if we're consuming, whether it's content on the internet, being around people who are not supportive of your growth, that can keep you in a fucked up space. So I started watching Les Brown. Yeah, are we dancing on Les Brown?
Yeah, we love Les over here.
Oh wow. So all of those motivational speakers, Eric Thomas, all of these people, right? So I'm like, yo, there's a whole slew of folks, and there's books. There are books, and I start picking up books that is going to feed me. I stopped watching TV years ago. So that helped. So that's how I get over it. And I'm learning to accept when I feel down, and I have self therapy, like questioning myself. What are you feeling right now? Why are you feeling it? Because I think if we don't get to the nitty gritty, as the old folks say, how you won't overcome it. And those blockages can really, it can really set you back. And being inconsistent, I'm inconsistent, right? And being inconsistent is such a horrible thing, because you somewhat you grow, but you somewhat is stuck in the same place. So that's what I do. That's what I do. I allow it now, but I just keep reading and just keep watching the people that inspire me.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah, no, we love. Thank you, universe. We love Les Brown. We love E.T.
Yes.
We actually got the chance to see E.T. live, and woo! When I tell you,
What?
it's lit, it's popping. Yes, those are the thing. Yeah, those are people that you definitely admire, because you sort of need that at some point to be like, yo, here's what we got to unlearn. Here's what we're learning. These are the processes. Here's how you do it. That's so amazing. Thank you so much for saying that. Speaking of processes, now that you're in this beautiful space of like, boom, I'm kicking down the door. I'm here with it. Can you talk to can you talk to us a little bit about your creative process and how you sort of create?
So lots of drugs and
Yeah.
no, I'm kidding. I don't know what's up with me and drugs, but process. So it's weird for me because I'm all over the place. I want so fucking bad to stick to one thing, but I can't, Lord, I can't. I love to sing. So wherever I am. So the first thing I've learned in terms of consistency is to write every day. Write every day. And so some things which I just stumbled upon like last week, I was like, you know what, Treva, don't worry about it. Just do what you feel. And we'll get to it. We'll get to it. If it's just acting, if it's just singing, we'll get to it. But what I've learned is going with what I feel. So and sometimes you just have to listen to you. We doubt ourselves so much, right? You're like, oh no, this is wrong. This is wrong. No, it isn't wrong. And when I started to learn marketing and all of that, I started judging myself like I'm doing it wrong. My processes is wrong. It isn't. So I write whatever comes to my mind, right? Flesh it out, flush. And then which triggering me. So sometimes something will trigger me and it needs to be a skit. So then I'll write a skit. Sometimes something will trigger me and I have a message. This needs to be a song. And so if it needs to be a song, then it just depends on where I'm at. If I feel it, I can already hear the music. It sucks that I'm not a musician, but I can hear it. I can still hear it. Then I'll go look for music that resonates with the story that I need to tell. If it's a skit, then I'm thinking about the characters. And then I'll probably it all starts with the story. Story is important. You can't tell shit you can't do shit if you're not a good storyteller. People love stories. We learn with stories. So understanding what the story is going to do, what it does for me, what am I trying to get it to do for other people? What do I want people to do? Because, I'll be having thoughts and shit. And, I'm real deep. So I be thinking and I think that creativity is so dope because a lot of people can fucking sing, right? Mm-hmm. But what are you doing with your voice? What are you singing about? What is the story? And are you living the story? What do you want other people to get from it? So I start there. That's the journey. And then funny enough, if I just get started after that, it'll just pop into my head. It'll be like, oh, your hair needs to look like this. Or, oh no, wear this. Oh no, do this. So I be in here going crazy. It's weird. But that's if that's a process.
Yes, that is a process, and I see the MJ poster in the back. I see the plants. That looks like a great environment to sort of even let those thoughts and that energy sort of cultivate, right? Because I think
Yes.
you were saying in the beginning as well, that environment has has
Oh yeah.
something to do with it, right? Again, you got to have it. You got to be centered. You got to have it in yourself, no matter what the environment
Yes.
is. But also, environment does super play a part in it. So that
Yes.
looks like a fantastic space for you to do that. That's wow. That's amazing. Thank you for that. Um, can you sort of describe, when speaking of music? Can you sort of
Yes.
describe your style of music and what kind of sort of category that is,
You know,
if
it's so
any?
funny. I know because so when I write music, I try it out on people at open mics. And I remember one open mic I went to, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need help from you guys. Can you tell me what genre this is? Because I don't know. I love sultry trip hop type of and I tried to run away. People will always say, Treva, you're so soulful. You're so soulful. But I never wanted to, I don't know. I wasn't digging that neo. So I'll listen to it, right?
Mm-hmm,
But I
mm-hmm,
never wanted to be considered neo soul for some fucking reason.
mm-hmm,
So I don't know. I think it's a blend though. It's definitely alternative, but I think it's a blend of maybe neo soul, trip hop. This one guy told me, oh, that's bedroom pop. So it's like all of those things, maybe.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. I can
Well,
dig this.
you
Yeah.
listened to one of the songs.
Yeah, you slid me a song before because we was gonna, back when I was on the East Coast, we was
Oh, yeah,
gonna,
yeah, yeah. So what did you think? What
yeah,
type of vibe did it give you?
it was, it was on the neo soul, poppy kind of like upbeat, because it wasn't just neo soul, like, and I think that's the thing, like you have a voice and an essence and a reminder of what neo soul brings, but
Mm-hmm.
then you also have this energy that resonates with like Whitney, with like
Mm,
upbeat Tony Braxton, of like, with this, like, yo, there is energy behind it, because then I can also, then like, I kind of want to see you like do a rock song, like I want to see you
I
do
love
like
that.
some high key like Shakira type, we
La
getting
la
it
la
type
la la
energy. So
la. La 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 la. Yes.
and that's why I wanted to, that was literally like my first question on here is how do you describe it? Because people do try and put people in boxes and
They do.
categories and containers just to make it
Yes.
nice for them, but for you,
Right.
that is,
Right.
that's not the container. So
Right.
that's, it does reminisce on those energies, but then again, I can see worldwide implication. Like, you can have Afro beats in your joint and flex it to where
Yes.
you can spin it
Yes.
that way. That is, so
Yes.
I love it. I gotta dig that email. Woo! Thank you for reminding me. I gotta dig that up so we can get that popping. Yeah, girl. Um,
Yeah, girl.
what has been, because you have had a journey. You have had some time to be in this space. What has been your favorite part of your journey so far?
Waking up, not
Like,
sleepwalking. It was painful shifting, right? And what I mean by that, so remember I told you that when I in my 20s, I got really super depressed.
mm-hmm,
And I would spend all my time, like most people, watching TV. And but that was my escapism, and drinking, and but that was my escapism, and I would just escape, and I would, live vicariously through the characters, which a lot of us do. The only thing for me is that I knew that I had the technique and the skill, and I've done it. And to sit here and watch someone else, I'm paying money. That cable bill was not cheap, honey. And I'm paying money and I'm
no way.
paying money to watch people live a life that I want to live. And not so much like lifestyle, but like in terms of a working actor or singer. And, but I just couldn't get out of it. And the moment that I shifted, turned off the TV, well, I didn't have a choice with the turning off the TV. It got cut off. My cable got cut off. So I was like, ain't nothing to do. So then I was forced to go back to those childhood years where I would go back into my brain and then create. Then I was like, oh, I like to read. Where's a book? And then I'm like, oh, okay. But the moment I woke up and was, what's the word I'm looking for? Present. The moment I chose to be present, and in the moment, I'm like, oh my God, I've been sleepwalking all this time. And if I can do anything for anyone, I've been having a lot of conversation with friends. It's so funny how like the universe just bring people in your life, take them out. But like, I tell people all the time, I have no other conversation for you at this moment. The only conversation I have is about becoming. And if that's not what you want to hear or talk about, goodbye. Because I have nothing else. I have to watch what I talk about. I have to watch what people are feeding me. But yeah, that has been the most amazing journey, opening up your eyes and taking accountability and stop being powerless. I felt so powerless. I was like, listen, not for nothing. Here's the truth. The biggest reason, I'm going to keep it a bean with you. The biggest reason why it took me so fucking long, and I didn't know this, it was because I was waiting for someone to guide me, take me by the hand and say, here, Treva, here's your platform to be authentically you, that creative person that I know that's down there. And I wanted someone to pull it out of me, put me on the world stage, and I just show up and be fabulous, darling. Because I thought that that's how it happened. And it does not happen that way. You have to show up first. And I didn't realize that people, I think in my head, but I really do believe this, that people thought that I was a fucking joke. You know what I mean? People, they don't say it like that, right? But you know, people don't take you seriously until you take yourself seriously. So I had to be accountable and say, stop waiting for somebody to do something for you. You have a phone. You see all of these fucking people doing shit that you're more than capable of doing. You know, I mean, if you need to fight yourself to get out your way, then let's do that shit. But don't say that you can't do it because I am going to be one piss bitch that I get to 70 if I get there and then live in regret. I don't want to live in regret. That's the scariest thing for me. I don't want to live in regret. You hear me? I do not. That shit is scary. I see my mother do it, my father do it, like everybody living in regret. And they hurt so bad. You know what they do? They pick up a bottle. They pick up real drugs. You know, I've been joking about it, but they really do. They do all of these things that keep them from dealing with the truth that you had to show up. So Treva, you have to show up. You have to. It just is what it is. And you can't wait for no fucking body to say, come on, baby, let me take you there. Or wait for people to build you up or support you. That was another thing. Oh, people are not supporting me. Maybe I'm not as talented. Oh, woe me. And I was like, I had to stop that. So believe it or not, like, I have my moments where I'm super confident. And then like many people, because we're born into this system that is structured to keep us living small and to keep us blind. I fell for it too, but I'm like, I'll be damned. I'll fight my way out of it. So I think that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Wake up, wake up.
Yes, exactly. Wake up.
Now that you're awake, Treva the Diva, what does success look like for you?
That's a great question. So now success looks totally different. Success really just means fully living in the passion. And I'm going to, I just watched this today. So these are not my words, but I believe it. I want to no longer, what'd she say? I love this. She said, I want to no longer have a dream. but I want to live in reality. I want this to be a reality for me. It was a girl on AGT, and it was just so profound. So what I mean by that is, now it's no longer, I think I was blinded to by celebrity culture and fame, that I thought that success looked that way. And that's not true. Yeah, that's not true. So now for me, success is really just being able to spend 100% of my time creating, 100% of my time influencing other people to live their dream, building that strong core community that resonates with me, and like living in it, like having a creative cult, and where and detaching from a job. I want to be able to feed myself creatively. So like transitioning to becoming a creative entrepreneur is the path. So success would be the moment that I can live comfortably, pay my bills. I don't need to be rich, but just be sustainable as a creative entrepreneur. I'm like, yeah, baby. Yes, I got money in the bank and I can sit here and do this, and then, influence children and have they back, because I still do believe, I know I said, oh, you have to be accountable and take it, and you can't wait for anybody to lead you. That's true. But you do need guidance. You need guidance. And so many kids, especially Black kids in inner city, they don't have guidance. And I want to get myself, strong enough to do that. That will be successful for me.
Because yes, and what you brought up there was nuance, right? Yes, you have to take accountability. Yes, you have to take responsibility for yourself and your own actions. But again, we all know here on this live and on the playback, let's not neglect the fact that there are systems in place that have, not just Black kids, but, Latino kids, people in inner cities, the disenfranchised. There are systems and ideologies in place that stop us from learning, from being intellectual, from reading, from understanding the laws of the universe, right?
Come on.
Yes, that is a beautiful term of success, of understanding the nuance of like, no, ain't nobody gonna take your hand and do it, but also you want to be a person to at least point a hand of being like, yo, here's a path that you can. That's a beautiful goal. That's a beautiful.
I want to teach people how to fish. Yes. Yeah. I ain't gonna give it to you.
If I ain't gonna give you no. Yeah, you grew up with it. We had some praying grandmamas. Okay, I know that one ain't go over my head. Okay, I want to teach you to fish. Okay, being in this space now, Treva, because I feel like you're happy. I feel like you're happy now. I feel like you're at least, getting to a space of feeding your own joy and it coming out. Balancing life and nuance and everything. What does self-care look like for you?
I was thinking, all of what we talked about, I think self-care, honestly, I think we think of like physical, putting on lotion and I don't know, maybe taking a bath here and there. But self-care for me is mental. I think taking care of my mind is so super important. So self-care is meditating. Self-care is breathing. Self-care, I keep saying self. It's not a TH, honey, it's F. Self-care is, being around good people, eating well, what I put in my body. So those is my mom and I talk about this all the time, like just eating well and, yes, programming my mind. That's important. That's my self-care.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I take a bath too and put on lotion and I exfoliate. But that shit is not really important.
Versus the mental. That's
right.
Because again, we met at a health resource center.
Yes.
And
center.
As jobs may go,
right.
I do have to say that some of the resources that they had, because again, I utilize the EAP side, the employee assistance there. Yeah, I felt like Kanye. I was texting my therapist, fury fingers. Yeah, absolutely. What? I used to, because when I used to transfer calls, I used to stay on like an extra 5 minutes, talk to my home, and be like, all right, listen, I got, I'd be like, you know what? I'll talk to you later. Boom. Yeah. So even thank you for saying that, because taking care of your mental and taking care of, your brain and yourself and your insides is also as important as, sort of those bodily things that we think about.
Yeah.
So that's a popping point. Thank you, Treva the
Yeah.
Diva. All right. We are now in the part of our show, one of my favorite parts, where we get to play a quick little game called Take It or Leave It. So if you are new to the show and you don't know how it goes, here's how it goes. If you take something, that means you would pack it in a picnic basket and take it along with you. You would give it an extra shot of tequila. You would give it a hug if it's feeling down. If you leave something, you are kicking it to the curb. You are throwing it in the trash instead of recycling. You are not caring and letting the battery die on it. Don't even rush for your charger. So first one, don't take it or leave it. Sprinkles on ice cream. Are you taking them?
I love sprinkles, rainbow sprinkles. Oh my gosh. Got excited.
Yes. Okay. What kind of ice cream? What kind of ice cream are you taking with the sprinkles?
I love well, I barely eat ice cream now, but when I did, it was cookies and cream.
Okay.
And the bowel movement ice cream, Mr. Softy, just vanilla and chocolate mix. It just reminded me of Two Girls in a Cup. Remember that? I don't know if this is the platform to talk. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Listen.
Sorry. Next one. Come on.
Woo. Next one. Dolphins. Are you taking them or are you leaving them?
Oh, I'm taking them. Yeah.
Okay. We could do. No, that was such a heartfelt, like.
Oh yeah, I love dolphins.
Okay, beautiful. Parallel parking.
Oh, take it.
You taking it or you leaving it? You taking it?
Where would I leave it? Oh yeah, that's me. Listen, I'm like a total gangster with it. Yes, I'm taking it.
Okay. I might have to get
and I don't hit people's bumpers. I want to be clear. I don't tap bumpers either.
You don't give a little love tap? I'll be spreading
love. That's how thorough I am. Oh, that's okay. I'm not judging you, sugar. You just go right on ahead.
Recycling. Are you taking it or are you leaving it?
Because, oh, shit. I guess I'm leaving it.
Okay. Say less. Beautiful.
Okay.
The beach. Are you taking it?
I'm taking it. I'm taking it.
Yeah?
I'm in the water. I'm a mermaid.
Woo. What's your sign?
Sagittarius.
Is that a water?
Fire.
Okay.
Yeah, it helps put out my fire.
When's the last time you went to the beach, Treva?
Well, that's not the point.
Okay, you're right. That's not the point.
But it was 2 years ago.
Put that in your schedule. Put that in the slide to the beach.
But I do love it.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, we love it. Thank you. Airplane food. Are you taking it or are you leaving it?
Oh, I suppose I'm leaving it. I don't have much experience with airplane. I have no experience with airplane food.
Okay. Some of them are good.
That's my life.
Some of them are good. Some of them are, So it is. You'll experience it. I'm putting that out to the universe. We're gonna double back to that. I'm gonna send you a text like, you take it or you leave. We're gonna double back to that.
There you go.
Hypnotic. Do you remember Hypnotic? The blue.
Oh, the liqueur. It's a liqueur.
Yes.
No, I'm leaving it.
You leaving it? Okay.
Oh, you like that?
You can see it on my face though. It's not about me, Treva. It's about you right now.
Okay.
It's about you right now. And then the last one that we are customary to doing here on Body of Work, books.
Taking it.
Taking them?
Taking it.
Anything in your recent, anything on deck recently that you
Oh
can?
my gosh. I got so much shit here. But you know what? If I could, it might be somewhat of a hard read for some people, but Influence.
Okay.
Also, this one too is very helpful. This is an easy book to read. Show Your Work.
Okay. Show
This
your
is
work.
so
Cool.
good. Show Your Work. This helps. Oh, you know what? You asked earlier about how to get out of your way, what you do, da da da. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I mentioned reading, because
Okay.
this was one of the things that helped me to say it just changed, it shifted my perspective on why and how I can share my work. So Show Your Work is really good. Yes.
Okay.
And then I like Influence too. That's a good book. So yeah.
Beautiful. Treva. Wow. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Thank you
I'm
so
happy
much
too.
for thank you so much for coming here and sharing your story and really giving this was a very insightful episode
Yeah,
because
okay.
we get different perspectives here on body of work from people that are just starting out their journey, people that have been seasoned in it, and
Mm,
I really enjoy the fact that you were talking about some of sort of your blockages or taking accountability, and also that you had to make the decision in yourself regardless of outside pressures or outside people's
right,
perspectives,
right.
that you really had to make that choice. And then once you did, the universe sort of began opening up to you, or God began to opening up
It's
to you.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's a beautiful thing. Is there anything else you want to tell the people watching live or on the playback? Where can we find your work at? Anything else any shout outs you want to give?
That's so funny. No, no shot. But thank you everyone who joined in. This is great. But no, my website is all effed up now. So just stay tuned to Treva the Diva on Instagram. If you do want to check out my 2 baby songs, they're for free. All you gotta do, press play on SoundCloud. So we have Romantic Artists, we have Say Yes, I Love Yes to Connect, and yeah, and I feel like more motivated now. So just random shit is going to be coming until I can, if I choose to stay focused on one thing. I want to tell you, I love this whole gang body of work. How do you do that? I was
It's
watching
okay.
your what is it?
So is it B? Is it B? So either way, B-O, body of work, right? It's W. Yeah, there you go. Woo! Yeah, so if you see
You do
somebody
it
in the
so quick. You
streets,
like body of work. I
about
was like, wow, this is gangsterism on a whole
it's
nother inspirational level though.
yeah, it's that creative cult you was talking about. We out here. If you see somebody in the street, you can just throw it up, real quick.
Yes, and like your
You
body
know,
of work.
you're
I
Oh
love
my
it.
God,
You're
Treva.
fabulous. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
having me. This has been
You
so
are
good.
I'm
So
happy.
good.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for taking time. Thank you for opening up. We really, really appreciate it here, over here. And with that being said, shout outs to Garden Parties. We just had the live event at the Black Sheep yesterday. So thank you everybody out in Philly for tuning in and showing up for that. Shout outs to everybody at NVC. We got a special NVC week coming up in the works, so stay tuned for that. Shout outs to everybody at De La Nona on the West Coast. Make sure you stop in and get some za and try out one of the new wines. Yeah,
Ooh.
it's a very, very, very litty place. From everybody in Philly on the East Coast, everybody in South Central on the West Coast, and here in the beautiful city of Saigon, Ho Chi Minh, Xin Chao. From myself, from Selena, from Torthel, and everybody here at Long Sleeve Service Productions, we thank
Yes.
you, we love you, and good night.
Good night. Body of work.
But yeah, that's what. Throw it
Thank
up in the
you.
streets. We love it. Thank y'all. Peace.
All right, have a good one.
Bye.